Thank you all for being seated. Before we begin, I have a minor request. Could I take a moment to ensure that all cell phones and mobile devices are on silence, screens turned off if possible? I'm hoping mine is. I can't reach it right now, but if you wouldn't mind doing that, thank you. As Provost and Executive Vice President of Academic Affairs, it is my pleasure to welcome you, our students and our faculty, to Emory University and the Emory family. I'd like to extend a very, very special welcome to our first-year undergraduate students who are beginning your college journey. So welcome. It is a momentous time to be at Emory. We've emerged from a period of isolation, uncertainty, and we're here to form a community of leaders, of scholars, of problem solvers, whose work is, has a commitment towards shaping the future actively and being engaged on campus and working towards creating the future that we'd like to. So as a community, I think we have a lot of agency just becoming a part of the Emory community. And it's a very, very special time that we're here. And I'm very glad, those of you for whom this is a beginning, that this is your first year at Emory. I share that with you. It is my first year also at Emory as your provost. And the convocation that we're here to participate in today is an entry point for our students, an entry point into the university and our community. And it happens to be my entry point also this time as provost. Convocations are, in some ways you can think of it as a threshold to commit the work ahead, to commit to belong to the community that we are part of, and a commitment to shape the community that we are part of. So my counsel to you, and perhaps to me also in some ways, is to take that leap of faith to make the commitment and for you to realize that you fully belong here, that Emory is your home. And at the beginning of your journey, it is a leap of faith. By the end, it will be an article of faith. So you do belong here, and you will shape the Emory that we co-create. It is my belief that this belief, if you adopt it, will result in incredible things for you. Great friendships. Many of you will do research and scholarship. You'll make connections with your best friends. And it'll empower you to be bold in your thinking. And sometimes it may result in some failures, or what might seem like failures, but that's an essential part to growth. Failure at sometimes is that dissonance is an important trigger for us to grow as people. All these experiences await you. I'm jealous, it's amazing. And the only thing I ask of you is that you need to intentionally choose to be engaged and participate and be present fully as you explore Emory and all the wonders that it has to offer for you. So I encourage you, if you don't remember anything else, to be all in on the future that you have at Emory. We have incredible faculty, many of whom are here with us today, eminent scholars in unbelievable fields that you'll get to know and work with. They'll be in your classrooms. They're incredible teachers, but they're also incredible mentors and open many doors for you. We're very, very fortunate. Make friends, bond with your peers, and as you already perhaps have discovered, there is incredible creativity, talent, and great-heartedness amongst all of you in the student body. So explore whatever it is that you wish to study, and you'll find out that there are incredible connections between whatever it is you're studying and the other fields of study as you engage in conversation with your friends. So believe, as we all do here at Emory, that the wise heart seeks knowledge, and then choose your own path and forge your own future. And in doing so, you'll shape Emory and you'll shape our future. So you belong here. I repeat that again. In fact, through your engagement, your friendships, your curiosity, your kindness, your ambition, you will shape the Emory that we will co-create over the next 4 years and beyond. And we will be shaped by you. And hopefully, with the research and other experiences here, you will grow as a person and discover who you want to be as a person in the future. Let us now proceed with an invocation by the University Chaplain and Dean of Spiritual Life, Reverend Gregory McGonigal.
Thank you so much, Provost, and thank you. Would you please join me in a spirit of prayer, meditation, or contemplation, each in your own way? Spirit of wisdom, we gather this afternoon with gratitude, joy, and hope to welcome all who are new to the Emory University community, students and faculty, and to renew our mission of seeking knowledge in service to humanity. May the spirit that moved our founders to create a college for linking labor and the life of the mind with deep faith in the future be with us as we convene and begin the academic journey of this new year, and especially of the new students who are here before us. We are in a time like no other, in uncharted territory as we regather more fully as an Emory community. We are excited to see familiar faces, at least half of the faces, and meet new friends, even as we know that we must rededicate ourselves to caring for self and one another as we continue to battle COVID-19. Even as we come together in joy, we remember our ancestors, those who have brought us to this moment, and those who are no longer with us, especially anyone we lost during the pandemic. May all who are suffering loss be comforted, and may those who need healing find healing. As we regather, we know that our city, state, country, and world call out for the knowledge and the service of every member of this community. From Afghanistan to Atlanta, our world seeks the wisdom, heart, and service that our faculty, staff, and students can offer. Today, we'll be blessed to consider how interdisciplinarity can help us cultivate responses to the social challenges we face. May we remember the ancient image of the mandala, a reminder of our interdependence to one another and to the earth. And may we remember that our well-being and liberation are all interconnected. Mindful of our mission, facing this moment, and committed to caring for one another and our world, may our convocation today inspire us for the academic journey of this new year. With our gratitude, joy, and hope, may this new season of learning begin. Amen, and congratulations to the class of 2025.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Students, this opening convocation marks a major moment in your journey of exploration, examination, and growth. And for us, the faculty and the administrative officers seated here, this ceremony is a renewal of a tradition more than 180 years in the making. This tradition signals our dedication to you, as well as to teaching, learning, research, and service, all measured by the highest standards of integrity and excellence. The presence of the university administration and the representatives of the academic faculty at this ceremony signifies the full measure of Emory's commitment to all of you. The robes we wear emphasize this obligation. You know, it's 92 degrees, we're very committed to this. With me on the platform today are program participants and members of the university administration. I will ask several of them to stand and be recognized. Please hold your applause until all have been introduced. The Chief Marshal of the university, Tracy McGill. Dean, Senior Vice President and Dean of Campus Life, Inku Galai. There she is. And good friend. University Bedell, President of the Student Government Association, Rachel Deng. Dean Doug Hicks of Emory's Oxford College. Dean Michael Elliott of Emory College of Arts and Sciences. Dr. Bill Ely, Executive Associate Dean of, he gets the longest title, for Medical Education and Student Affairs, Graduate Medical Education and Continuing Medical Education at the School of Medicine. Great guy. Dean Karen Seratol for the Goizueta Business School, Dean Jan Love of the Candler School of Theology, Dean Jim Curran of the Rollins School of Public Health, Dean Lisa Tedesco of the James T. Laney School of Graduate Studies and Vice Provost for Graduate Studies, and the President, lastly but not least, the President of the University, Gregory Fenves. I missed, in my haste, I apologize, Dean Linda McCauley from the nursing school. So, in front of you, thank you. In front of you are distinguished faculty members representing various colleges and schools at Emory, and they join the platform party here in welcoming you to campus and this important phase of your intellectual journey. Especially want to recognize new faculty members, both from 2020, when we were unable to hold this convocation in person, and from 2021, who are joining us today. A very warm welcome to all of you as well. Now, will all the faculty please rise? Students, I present to you, it's my great pleasure, your teachers, your mentors, and members of our faculty here. Thank you all. Thank you for all that you do. One objective of our annual gathering is to introduce you to some of the many fields of study available at Emory and the many distinguished professors you will find in the classroom. It is an honor to have with us today Senior Associate Dean of Faculty for the Emory College of Arts and Sciences, Debolina Roy. In training, she's a reproductive neuroendocrinologist and a molecular biologist. In practice, she's so much more, serving Emory as a faculty member and as an administrator and asking bigger questions of a broader audience. Her research and teaching explore interdisciplinary exchanges between the natural sciences and humanities, and she has dedicated her career to creating new conversations between feminism, philosophy of science, reproductive justice, molecular biology, and neuroscience. Talk interdisciplinary. She is a Keck Foundation and National Science Foundation funded researcher, as well as an author of multiple articles and a monograph entitled Molecular Feminisms, Biology, Becomings, and Life in the Lab. At Emory, since 2009, Professor Roy was appointed Senior Associate Dean of Faculty in fall of 2020. She's Professor of Neuroscience and Behavioral Biology and Women's Gender and Sexuality Studies at Emory. She also serves as the Associate Faculty in Neuroscience Program in GDBBS, which is the Graduate Division of Biological and Biomedical Sciences at Emory. She received her PhD in Reproductive Endocrinology and Molecular Biology from the Institute of Medical Science at the University of Toronto. Please join me in welcoming Senior Associate Dean Debolina Roy.
Thank you, Provost Belamkonda. It is my honor and pleasure to be with you all here today and to share in this unforgettable moment. It feels like nothing short of a miracle to be able to gather together like this and to welcome our class of 2025. Today marks a new beginning for you, as it has for generations of Emory students before you. You are here to fulfill your goals and ambitions for the future, like so many students who have participated in Convocation before you. But I want to use this address as an opportunity to take a moment and recognize that you, our incoming class of 2025, are like no other class that Emory has ever seen come through its doors. You have spent the last 17 months of your lives living through not one, but two pandemics. One caused by a virus and the other by the ongoing legacies of racial injustice in this country. Many of you have lost loved ones to COVID-19. Many of you have experienced firsthand the violence of racism that plagues this country. but you are here. And not only have you survived, you have resisted. You have marched in the streets beside your family, friends, and neighbors, calling for justice. Many of you have organized your own protests. Many of you have put your lives on the line to stand up against police brutality. Many of you have become student leaders in human rights organizations. Many of you have formed your own not-for-profits to help your communities and to extend support to people you don't even know. You are incredible. My sense is that more than any other incoming class before you, you already know why you're here at Emory. Your path ahead is clear, and this path is calling you to be the ones that will find the solutions for a more just and sustainable world. It is our job as Emory faculty, staff, and administrators to recognize the wisdom you already hold and the visions you bring with you for creating a better world. It is our responsibility to not only provide you with a top-notch education, but to recognize this drive within you and to help you acquire the skill sets you will need to make your visions into reality. I see this moment of unprecedented challenges as an opportunity for all of us to grow and to become better versions of ourselves. When Provost Bellamconda asked me to deliver this year's convocation speech, he mentioned that he had heard about the interdisciplinary nature of my work and the enthusiasm with which I speak about it. It is true, I am enthusiastic. One might even say excitable when it comes to interdisciplinarity. But I will say that this enthusiasm does not just exist in an academic sense for me. As a feminist neuroscientist, interdisciplinary work has been my bread and butter, but it has also given me a valuable skill set to understand and appreciate the intricate practices of different communities of knowers. I view this skill set as not just a method for research or teaching in a university setting. In fact, I want to humbly suggest that given the moment we are in and the challenges we are facing, interdisciplinarity may very well be a toolkit that is necessary for our futures and for our survival. Interdisciplinary work forces one to learn how to build bridges, bring together diverse communities of knowers, and learn how to respect and appreciate different approaches to producing knowledge. It requires one to learn how to listen, learn new vocabularies, and learn to communicate ideas in a way that is legible to people outside of your area of expertise. My interest in interdisciplinarity has been motivated by multiple factors. I think a great deal of this interest comes from a reflex I have had from a very young age to question boundaries. I was born in Toronto to Bengali parents who immigrated from India. I grew up realizing that as a diasporic Desi, I would never be quite Indian enough, and because of my appearance, I was never quite Canadian enough. Today, when asked the question, "Where are you from?" and I get that question quite often, I find myself identifying as a multi-hyphenated South Asian Canadian American. When you grow up living with multiple hyphens attached to your identity, you start questioning borders. You learn to navigate unclear boundaries of belonging until, in fact, the act of navigating borders itself becomes a skill set. Gloria Anzaldúa, a queer Chicana feminist, cultural theorist, and writer, stated in her book, Borderlands, "Borders are set up to define the places that are safe and unsafe, to distinguish us from them. A borderland is a vague and undetermined place created by the emotional residue of an unnatural boundary. It is in a constant state of transition. The prohibited and forbidden are its inhabitants." Anzaldúa also stated that living on the border helps build a tolerance for ambiguity. I would argue that questioning boundaries and tolerating ambiguity are essential skill sets that one also learns from conducting interdisciplinary work. My commitment to interdisciplinarity has also been influenced by a superhero of mine. When I was young, my parents taught me a great deal about my Bengali heritage through Indian classical dance, music, and Bengali literature. Seeing my interest in the sciences, they also told me stories about Jagadish Chandra Bose. Bose was a Bengali scientist who conducted his life's work as a colonial subject under British rule in India. He pioneered investigations of radio waves, microwaves, and even gave the first public demonstration of the existence of electromagnetic waves back in 1895. Bose, who can be described as the first biophysicist in our modern understanding of the term, also used electrical signals to measure responses in animal tissues, plants, and metals. And through his experiments, he troubled the boundaries of what we consider to be a life or a living form. As an adult, I started to appreciate Bose's ethical and philosophical approaches to scientific inquiry. He encountered the world around him with a sense of humility. Instead of adopting a transcendent or hierarchical stance between himself as the scientist and his so-called object of inquiry, Bose worked with nature around him and placed himself on a more level plane with what he studied. He saw the relationship between the scientific knower and that which was to become the known as existing on a more immanent or horizontal plane. This ethical and philosophical orientation to sources of knowledge is also a skill set that one can acquire through interdisciplinary work. Lastly, I would say that my commitment to interdisciplinary work has been informed by my participation in reproductive justice, or RJ movements. During my undergraduate years at the University of Toronto, when I was majoring in microbiology, I was fortunate enough to meet feminist health activists who were protesting in the streets. They wanted to draw the attention of scientists at the university who were working on developing new reproductive and genetic technologies. What I came to understand from them was that they were not necessarily opposed to these technologies, but that they wanted to be included in conversations about the development of biological interventions that would ultimately have a direct impact on their bodies. I was introduced to reproductive justice frameworks in the 90s through the National Action Committee on the Status of Women in Canada. But I must give a shout out to organizations such as Sister Song and Spark Reproductive Justice Now, right here in Atlanta. Both organizations were founded in this city decades ago, and both have been laying the groundwork for what is now an international social justice movement. So when I started my PhD in molecular biology and reproductive neuroendocrinology, I already knew that I wanted to become a feminist scientist who could bring reproductive justice work into conversation with reproductive biology research. RJ, reproductive justice, for those of you who may be unfamiliar, is not about choice, but rather about access. It is a horizontal social movement conceived and developed by Black feminists in the US to address the reproductive health needs and concerns of Black, Indigenous, Latinx, Asian, trans people, and more. RJ frameworks require us to pay attention to how knowledge is being produced, which stakeholders are being invited into the conversation, which questions are being asked, and whose voices are being deemed worthy of attention. Similar to Black Lives Matter, RJ is a horizontal social movement that is member-led, that is, purposely without a clear hierarchy in its leadership. Both encourage its members to work toward and affirm values of diversity, restorative justice, empathy, and loving engagement. They are built on the idea that everyday people can come together to organize and effect change. I think the challenges of today require that we participate and grow more horizontal social movements. Interdisciplinary work can help us out here. Both horizontal social movements and interdisciplinarity require lateral networks in order to function, and both work to overcome boundaries and borders by building coalitions through common interests. Students across the globe often ask me, how can they connect what they are learning in the classroom or at the lab bench with their own concerns for social justice? I usually tell them that there is no one single way to go about this. I will say to all of you, however, that if this question resonates with you, you have come to the right place. Emory is like no other university when it comes to supporting interdisciplinary scholarship and helping faculty and students alike connect their intellectual passions to the service of humanity. I want to end by reflecting on Emory's motto, "The wise heart seeks knowledge." I believe this motto will serve us all very well as we go forward into this academic year. My interdisciplinary training, however, begs me to ask, which knowledge will we seek? And how will we arrive at this knowledge? As you must all know by now, Emory University was established in 1836. This was 15 years after the first Treaty of Indian Springs was signed in Georgia, and 6 years after the Indian Removal Act of 1830. Emory's motto, which I believe was formalized in 1890, was established during a time when Georgia and other southern states passed a variety of Jim Crow laws that mandated racial segregation. Interdisciplinary inquiry and horizontal social movements would have us remember that even as we bring the noble values of our motto into sharp relief, we must recognize that behind this motto, in its background, stands a deep history of exclusion. I ask you, as we all look to the years ahead, how will our wise hearts seek knowledge? Will we build bridges? Will we bring together diverse communities of knowers? Will we learn to respect and appreciate different approaches to the production of knowledge? In addition to being wise, our hearts will also need to hold a great deal of courage as we embark on this journey together. We must be brave and compassionate in the knowledge that we seek, in the questions we ask, and the answers we receive. The poet and civil rights activist Maya Angelou once said, "Courage is the most important of all virtues, because without it, no other virtue can be practiced consistently." She said, you can be kind and true and fair and generous and just and even merciful occasionally. But to be that thing time after time, you have to really have courage. I wish us all courage in the year ahead that lies. And I want to thank you very much for this honor to be able to share my thoughts with you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Roy. You got a glimpse of Emory a little bit. May it be that in the next years ahead, the concept of us expands and them shrinks. It is my pleasure now to introduce our speaker today, the president of Emory University, Greg Fenves. With a 36-year career in higher education, President Fenves has served top-tier research universities both as a distinguished researcher and educator, as well as an experienced executive leader. Through his time, he's demonstrated a strong commitment to advancing faculty development, interdisciplinary scholarship, and research, diversity and inclusion, and access and affordability, working to create greater educational opportunities for talented students of all backgrounds. He came to Emory last summer, drawn by Emory's mission to create, preserve, teach, and apply knowledge in the service of humanity. He was impressed by Emory's strengths as an academic community, charged with providing a life-changing, transformative undergraduate liberal arts education and acclaimed graduate and professional programs, all at a world-class, intimate research university. COVID-19 pandemic has been the backdrop of his first year at Emory, and yet, through all of the challenges, he's led initiatives that have helped bring us together as a community and carry forward the important work of the university in learning, in teaching, in research, and in creative expression, while charting a course for Emory's future and keeping us all safe. Please join me in welcoming President Gregory L. Fenves.
Well, thank you, Provost Bellamconda, and my special thanks to Dr. Roy for her wonderful presentation and speech. Give a round of applause to Dr. Roy. So, to our first year students, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to Emory University as we celebrate the beginning of your college journey here. And I can't tell you how much I've looked forward to this moment when we could be together in person, launching a new academic year with a new, renewed sense of purpose and a recharged commitment to learning and discovery. And the fact that we are here today is a testament to the power of the Emory community. And I couldn't be more grateful for the work of everyone at Emory University, from our campus services staff to our dedicated faculty and staff around the campus, to Emory's medical and public health experts who have all made it possible to have a safe return to campus. Let's give everybody who works at Emory a big round of applause. At the same time, each of you was doing something heroic. You graduated from high school under historic circumstances, adapting to learning in the middle of a global pandemic and adjusting to rapid change and tremendous uncertainty. And you stepped up to those challenges. You kept the flame of learning alive in yourself, and you made it work. Congratulations. And I know the resilience and the fortitude it took you to get here and sit where you are now will serve you well here at Emory and throughout your life. Now, of course, at Emory, we already know how special you are as academic achievers with the courage to engage deeply with the issues so many of you care deeply about, and to serve your communities with vision and energy. And in fact, you were among the largest applicant pool in the history of this university, over 33,000 prospective students who sought out an Emory education. The largest and most diverse class that Emory has ever had at an exceptional liberal arts university, all within a world-class research institution. And you're here today because we could see your strengths. We could see your accomplishments. We could see your potential. And together, each of you individually and all together are a powerhouse first year class. And I can't begin to imagine all that you will accomplish here at Emory and far beyond graduation. And you know, as I look out over this class, it's hard not to reflect back a few years, well, many years, when I was a college student, getting ready for my first day of class, and the future stretched out ahead of me. And I know I'm an old guy, but I'm going to try to share a few pieces of advice. So first of all, be open to new people and new ideas, especially people from different backgrounds, from different life experiences. Before I went to college, I'd never met a student from another country, never ventured outside North America. And suddenly I was meeting people from all across the country and all around the world with amazing experiences and perspectives that was so different from what I grew up with. And that was part of my education, and I know it will be part of your education, because in reality, the world is going to be your classroom. So meet new people, listen to their stories, put yourselves in their place, and let the moments of connection and insight expand your personal horizons. Now, this includes your professors. Talk to them, get to know them. We have many of the faculty sitting here and many more throughout the university who you will meet in your classes. Their expertise and their compassion and their ability to mentor is among Emory's greatest strengths. And you are the reason they're here and they want you to succeed. Next, explore your interests. Early in my freshman year was the first semester living in the dorm. I bumped into another student in the dorm, and I asked him where he was going. Well, I'm going to this meeting of this student organization. So I followed him and went to the meeting. Well, it turned out it was one of the major student government organizations at my university. And it was very important in the student life at the university. So I stayed at that first meeting, decided to get involved, and for the next 4 years, I was a major participant. In fact, it became my first campus leadership experience when, in my senior year, I was head of the organization. So that gave me tremendous learning and also confidence in new skills that were invaluable as part of my education, and I know you can do the same. So if student government doesn't make your heart race, and Rachel may be able to convince you otherwise, find one of the many hundreds of student organizations here at Emory and get involved at 1 or 2 or even 3. Emory is brimming with opportunities for you to explore. Finally, be yourself. At Emory, we value the authentic qualities that make you who you are. So bring them with you into the classroom, onto the campus, into all the activities that you're going to get involved in. Diversity of who you are, diversity of thought, of backgrounds, of experiences, builds bridges of understanding and strengthens our community. You are the vibrant, beating heart of the Emory community. As your first semester begins and unfolds with all the excitement it will bring, I look forward to meeting you, listening to your stories, and also learning for you. Thank you for choosing Emory. May you grow and thrive here, build friendships, discover your passion, and find a sense of real belonging to prepare you for your future. It's going to be an incredible 4 years. Now, at this time, I'd like to invite you to join me in a very special tradition. Emory University is a community rich in cultural, intellectual, religious, and spiritual traditions, where our differences and our common values are explored, respected, and embraced. It's our practice during academic ceremonies to offer blessings reflecting many faith traditions. So I'm now going to ask you to please stand in the spirit of the day as we hear benedictions. Out of respect for the sacredness of these prayers, we ask that you refrain from applause. At the conclusion of the blessings, please take your seats for a special performance of the Emory Alma Mater. Though we usually stand during the singing of our alma mater, today's performance will be accompanied by a very special science demonstration, which may be difficult to see if you're standing. So after the benedictions, please be seated. At the conclusion of the program, after the platform party and the faculty have left, remain seated for instructions from your orientation leaders who will lead you to your next destination this evening. Now, the benedictions.
Om Bhurбhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. O thou existence, absolute, creator of the 3 dimensions, we contemplate upon thy divine light. May He stimulate our intellect and bestow upon us true knowledge.
May everyone be happy and safe, and may all hearts be filled with joy. May all beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, invisible or visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Just as a mother loves and protects her only child at the risk of her own life, cultivate boundless love to offer to all living beings in the entire cosmos. Let our boundless love pervade the whole universe, above, below, and across. Our love will know no obstacles. Our heart will be absolutely free from hatred and enmity. Whether standing or walking, sitting or lying, as long as we are awake, we should maintain this mindfulness of love in our own heart. This is the noblest way of living.
As a blessing from Judaism, I would like to share a favorite piece of Talmud that speaks about how studying brings peace in the world. It plays on how the Hebrew word for children, banaich, with different values, can also mean builders, bonaich. May be blessed with peace. Rabbi Elazar said in the name of Rabbi Hanina, Torah scholars increase peace in the world, as it is said, and all of your children shall be taught of the world, and great shall be the peace of your children. Do not read your children banaich, but rather your builders bonaich. As it is stated, those who love your Torah have great peace. There is no stumbling block for them. May there be peace within your walls, prosperity within your palaces. For the sake of my brothers and friends, I say, peace be within you. Amen.
God of endless love and light, thank you for bringing our first-year class safely to their new home at Emory. During this time of transition and change, we are glad that you are with them as a steadfast constant. We ask that you bless them with confidence in their faith as they navigate this new chapter of their life. Bless them with compassion to forge new friendships. Bless them with resilience to take on great challenges and goals. And bless them with the strength to be champions of everything that you stand for: peace and tolerance and kindness. To the class of 2025, you are so loved. No matter who you are or where you've been, you are loved by both the Emory community and by God. May divine light shine upon you, and may Christ-like love warm your hearts. Amen. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the most kind, the most merciful. رب ادخلني مدخل صدق واخرجني مخرج صدق واجعل لي من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. بسم الله الفتاح. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن متى شئت سهلا يا أرحم الراحمين. My Lord, let me enter the entrance of truth and lead me out the exit of truth, and grant me from you a supportive authority. My Lord, explain my chest to me, ease my command for me, and loosen the knots of my tongue, so that they understand my words. In the name of God. O God, there is nothing easy except what you made easy, and you make sadness easy whenever you want. O most merciful of the merciful. Amen.
the sun doth shine. That is where our hearts are turning round old Emory's shrine. We will ever sing thy praises, sons and daughters true. Hail we now our alma mater, hail the golden blue. Though the years around us gather, crowned with love and cheer, still the memory of old Emory grows to us more dear. We will ever sing thy praises, sons and daughters true. Hail we now